Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Monday. Clayton Kearns here with TrendingPolitics.com. So excited to have you guys here. We already have a crazy amount of people, the most people we've ever had at one time, well over 3,000 across all of our different platforms. So I want to thank you guys. Appreciate every single one of you guys for being here. We've got a packed show. Let's dig right into it, okay? First and foremost, as many of you guys heard, a very, very sad story, okay? President Trump's younger brother, Robert Trump, sadly passed away over the weekend. He had many, many health complications, many things go wrong with him, and ultimately he couldn't make it through, and that's a very sad thing. He was President Trump's younger brother, so some people say, oh, well, he was an old man, No. Anytime a younger sibling of you passes away, I'm sure it hits even harder. So prayers, thoughts and prayers with the Trump family are definitely with them because this was a very sad thing to happen. I can only imagine that Robert was so excited to see his brother potentially get reelected this November, and he was probably just like ready to see that. Sadly, his life was cut short, and it's a very, very sad thing to see. So everyone definitely write down in the comments below, say prayers to President Trump and his family. Rest in peace, Robert Trump. Our prayers were definitely with their families. So everybody, sadly, the left took about 10 minutes in order to politicize this and in order to literally dance on the grave of President Trump's younger brother. Just moments after it was announced, if you guys see right here at the bottom, the hashtag #WrongTrump started trending on Twitter, meaning tens of thousands of liberals, actually over 100,000, began tweeting out, oh God, we told you the other Trump. You took the wrong Trump from us. Liberals were hoping to death that it was President Donald Trump who died and not his brother, and they laughed in his face and they made a mockery of it all. Now, that is bad enough on its own, okay? That we have tens of thousands of liberals who are gleefully celebrating the death of President Trump's younger brother and then making it worse and saying, man, if only it was President Trump who died. God, some of the tweets I saw were ridiculous. They said, God, I guess I need to start being extra specific with my prayers. Really, really ugly stuff. However, we can come to expect those kind of things and those kind of comments from Twitter trolls, okay? These are people who probably don't have much going on in their life, and, they get a lot of likes and comments when they post something controversial. So because they probably don't have anything else going on in their life, they get a sense of fulfillment when somebody likes their terrible and nasty comments. But when it comes from the liberal media, things get even worse, okay? So I want to just paint a little picture here for you. What if I told you that the Washington Post treated a leader of ISIS with more respect in their obituary than President Trump's younger brother? If I told you that, you probably wouldn't be surprised. So this is the obituary headline that the Washington Post wrote when Abu Bakr Baghdadi passed away. They called this man who is a terrorist, a murderer. They called him an austere religious scholar. Let that sink in for a minute. They called this man an austere religious scholar. Notice how there is nothing negative in this headline. Nothing negative about this terrorist in the headline. Nothing negative about the thousands of people who have died at the helm of the Islamic State. They call them an austere. Now, let's contrast this with the obituary headline that they wrote about President Trump's little brother. Robert Trump, younger brother of President Trump, who filed a lawsuit against his niece, dies at 71. Notice how they just had to throw the jab in there? Let me ask the Washington Post, what purpose in the headline do you have to say that he filed a lawsuit against his own niece? How is that relevant at all to who he was as a man? Why did you, the Washington Post, write a more glowing obituary headline for a leader of a terrorist organization who beheads people and cuts off their heads and limbs and murders innocent people than a man who is just the younger brother of the President of the United States? Oh, that's why. That's why. It's because he is the president. It is because he is the younger brother of the President of the United States, which you hate so much. So, everybody, I want you to take note, is that whenever we call out the media, whenever we call them fake news, whenever we call them lowlifes, this is why. Because they wrote a more glowing obituary headline for the leader of ISIS, one of the leaders of ISIS, than they did for a simple man whose biggest crime in life was to be the brother of the President of the United States. But they had to say, with a little negative jab, I bet you they were just sitting behind their keyboards just saying, okay, I can't not say anything bad about this man in the headline. Of course they had to. And that's what they said. Hey, oh yeah, this guy who just died, well, things were so bad for him that he filed a lawsuit against his niece. Really, Washington Post? Really? That's what you're going with. It was bad enough that liberals, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of liberals on Twitter were celebrating the death and then saying, God, you took the wrong Trump from us. We wanted President Trump to die, not his brother. But the Washington Post editorial team thought that this would be a good idea to post. Notice, they didn't put this in the last paragraph as like a anecdote. Oh, by the way, in May of 2020, he happened to file a lawsuit against his niece. Now, that's still irrelevant to who he was as a man, who he is as a person. But did that matter? Did that matter to the liberal media and Washington Post? Absolutely not. They wanted to get the jab in the headline. Why? Because they know that most people only read the headline. That's exactly why. That's why. Because they know that most people only read the headline, and they wanted to get that jab in and have it seen by as many people as humanly possible. So let me know if you guys think the Washington Post is fake news. I want to see big, bold letters, fake news in the comments below, because we have to keep exposing crap like this. They think that we're so stupid to ignore this. But no, this is what they write for the leader of a terrorist organization, an austere religious scholar. But President Trump's brother? Yeah, brother of President Trump, who, by the way, filed a lawsuit against his niece. Isn't that scandalous? Ridiculous. If you think the Washington Post is fake news, comment below whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or Periscope. A big, bold, fake news or Washington Post is fake news. Or, if you want to ramp it up a little bit, then type in all caps, enemy of the people. Because that is what they are. They are truly the enemy of the people, just like President Trump said. And you know what? The media and Jim Acosta, they get triggered as hell when we say that, don't they? But they are. They absolutely are the enemy of the people. So actually, that's what I want you to type below. Enemy of the people. Let's get this in front of as many people as we can to let them know the Washington Post and liberal media are the true enemy of the American people. President Trump is absolutely right about that. All right. Okay, now that I blew off a little bit of steam there, that's been pent up all weekend. We got some good news out of New York City. On Friday, I had told you guys that New York City basically said, we're not going to do the 9/11 tribute this year because of coronavirus concerns. Well, just a few weeks prior, they had city workers out there blocking off streets, and they were putting up Black Lives Matter murals. They were fine with that. Thank God, 9/11 and the victims of 9/11 are going to be commemorated on our day. Cuomo has caved and says that the annual 9/11 light commemoration is back on. So thank God that this is going to happen on what is one of the darkest days in American history. This needed to be celebrated. We don't need to be painting the names of Marxist organizations on the streets in order to just send a message over a death that may or may not have been racially motivated, judging by the body cam footage. But 9/11 is a tragedy, a day that we all need to always remember. And thank God, it's because of people like you for speaking out, for watching, for sharing, for commenting, for liking, for listening to everything. Is that you see, us conservatives, we were able to spark change without burning down buildings. Isn't that amazing? We were able to spark change without having to protest or riot. Just by having a voice, we can elicit change like this, guys. So speaking out works, everyone. So thank God that that the 9/11 show will go on. And we're very, very happy that the victims of that terrible day are going to be commemorated, as they always are. Okay. The New York Democrats tried to get away with it. They tried to get away with it, but thank God the American people stood up. So as many of you guys know, tonight the clown show begins. Tonight is the first night of the Democrat National Convention. Now I understand that much of it will be virtual. There's not gonna. I don't even know if they're gonna even have a stage. I think they might have a stage for some people, but what we do know is that Joe Biden is not flying into that because he's afraid of the coronavirus. So this man who wants to be the president of the United States, whose job is going to be to meet with dozens of people every single day, travel, make decisions, he doesn't even want to get out of his basement in South Dakota in order to accept the nomination for presidency of the United States. Let that sink in. So, just to give you a little sneak preview, here is what's on the docket for tonight. We've got a doozy tonight, you guys. We're getting Bernie Sanders, an avowed socialist, borderline communist, Cuomo, Gretchen Whitmer, Amy Klobuchar, Michelle Obama. Wow, definitely some characters tonight. I will absolutely have some really good material for you guys during tomorrow's podcast. And on that note, I want to talk to you guys about a couple things. So the first thing here. This is going to be kind of the rapid fire section of my live stream. Joe Biden attempted to talk again today, so congratulations on him for trying to speak again, but it didn't work out well, as it normally doesn't. This man has 7 grandchildren, but apparently he forgot about that. Let's see what Joe has to say.
You know what I'm saying?
You're telling me? I got 4 kids, 5 grandkids. Come on. I'm an expert.
Guys, he has 7 grandkids. He just says he has 4 or 5. Yet the Democrats want to give him control over the nuclear weapons in our country. Nice. Okay. Here's another interesting clip from our man Joe.
Without a big chunk of taxes coming out of our check.
I'm sorry, real quick. Let me give you a little bit of context here. They had to severely edit Joe Biden's comments in order for them to make sense. So I stopped the video because I want to make sure that you realize, watch how the video clip is edited. Because if it wasn't edited, God only knows what would have come out of this man's mouth. Here we go.
The way we can pay for all of this is doing practical things, like making sure that no corporation making a profit.
Does the Biden campaign know that when Joe Biden is debating against Trump, that he's not going to be able to? They're not going to be able to cut up clips of him in order to make him sound better? Does everyone know that? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Before I show you guys the next clip, I do want to tell you guys that for some of you guys who are on here every single day now, every single live stream that we do between YouTube and Facebook and the replays gets over 80,000 views per episode on average. Some of them get over 100,000 views. So for those of you guys who always want to stay in the loop, make sure we just set up this texting line, okay? Text the word trending to 31996 in order to get text message notifications when we go live. Now, we just launched this. We're not going to be doing it every day yet. But for those of you guys who are super committed to learning about the latest, what's going on in the news, and you guys like these live streams that I do here every weekday, then please feel free to go to trending or type the word trending and text that word to 31996, okay? That's just a little break here in the action I want to give to you guys, okay? So I'll be bringing that back up later if you guys don't see it. So another thing is that President Trump is in campaign mode. This week he is doing a 4-state tour. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is chilling in his basement, doesn't even want to go accept the Democrat nomination. President Trump has turned into campaign Trump again, and here we go. I love campaign Trump. Campaign Trump is the best Trump, and here's some of his comments today in Minnesota.
Just heard that coming in. I expected to see, and Fox will broadcast them more than they broadcast us. You know that. We've seen the blueprint here in Minneapolis. The city recently voted to abolish the police department. They actually did. They actually went to that extent. These people, fools. And to take away your Second Amendment, they will be taking away your Second Amendment if they win, if Biden wins, as sure as you're standing. And he'll have nothing to do with it. He'll say, what is the Second Amendment? Would you explain that to me, please? That means they're going to take away your guns. And as sure as you're standing here today, if they win, and that's what's going to happen. Remember this, I am the only thing standing in the way of your Second Amendment.
Yes.
It's going to be either taken away or obliterated. And by the way, many other things, like we lower taxes and like we lower regulations and like we build the strong military, and we take care of our vets. We have veterans' choice, veterans' accountability, and all things that nobody thought were going to be happening. After the riots in Minneapolis, Kamala Harris, you know her? She's the one who finished so badly that she was embarrassed. She ran out of town. And then they said, we're going to choose you for vice president. I mean, she finished so badly. She started off strong, day one. After that, everyone really understood her, understood what she represents and who she represents. And she went down like a rock in water. And she left town before the first vote was taken, right? Didn't she leave and quit? And also, there was nobody that was meaner than said horrible things about Vice President Biden and Kamala, even worse than Pocahontas, right? She was nastier and meaner and more vicious than Pocahontas. So now you have Kamala, who's very strong anti-fracking. In other words, your energy bills are going to go through the roof. They're going to love her in Texas. They're going to love her in Ohio and Pennsylvania. We're against fracking. Well, that's the end of those. I said before, George Washington could be running for office. If he's anti-fracking, anti-guns, and anti-religion, he's going to have a hard time. And he's going to have a hard time in your state, too, because you feel the same way we do. But Kamala Harris encouraged Americans to donate to the so-called Minnesota Freedom Fund. You know what that is? Which bailed out the rioters, looters, assaulters, and anarchists from jail. And Biden's staff did the same thing. They donated a lot of their money to get them out of jail so that everyone was right back on the streets. Think of that. This is what is running for office. This is what we're competing against. And the primary competitor, Joe, he's in his basement. He just doesn't come out. They don't ask him questions. I said, I wish they asked him a couple about 2 months ago. It was like, hey, hi, are you enjoying your run? Yes. Oh, okay, good. That was the question. Are you enjoying it? They don't.
This is campaign Trump, you guys. Look, this was probably a small event, but this is what President Trump needs to be doing every single week in different states, you guys. This material was absolutely gold. The message is simple, concise. They're going to ban fracking. Your jobs are going to go away. Your energy jobs, your energy bill's going to go through the roof. Your taxes are going to be raised. Your guns are going to be taken. Guys, the message doesn't get much more simple than that. It doesn't get much more simple than that. President Trump and the Trump campaign need to be doing little one-off events like this, I would say 3 to 4 times a week, and intensify it more, maybe 3 to 4 times a day, in maybe different cities in these battleground states. I want to see him in Florida. I want to see him in Pennsylvania. I want to see him in Wisconsin. I want to see him in Michigan, and I want to see him in Ohio, doing events like this every single week. This message, he needs to be doing this. Because, guys, when he does this message, the clips circulate on Twitter. The it gets played in local media. They can use it in campaign ads. He's in the news. He's being talked about more. He's talking to voters. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is in the basement. The Trump campaign is knocking on 1 million doors a week. The Biden campaign is knocking on 0 doors a week. The Biden campaign says, hey, well, we're making phone calls. We're good. Well, the Trump campaign is making phone calls too, on top of knocking on 1 million doors a week, okay? The Trump campaign is doing things very well. They've got a ground game. They've got money. President Trump needs to be doing this every single week, you guys, okay? So please keep up, keep up with that, you guys. And we're going to be hoping that President Trump does this more often, okay? And the more he does this, the more we're going to bring you, more content we're going to bring you. So, in closing, as you guys know, tonight is the first night of the DNC, and why not bring us back to one of the most viral and fun and goofiest DNC flashbacks of all time. Let's see if their energy is on this level as the 1996 Democrat National Convention and their funky dance moves, including crooked Hillary Rodham Clinton. Let's roll the tape. The energy was something else. That was something else, you guys. We're going to be posting that later, trendingpolitics.com. So if you want to have a good laugh and watch that a little bit later in the night, you can, you guys. So, guys, this week is a big week. We're going to have a ton of content for you. So please stick with us here. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure to like this video so that Facebook knows that you like this content. If you want text message updates of when we go live, text the word trending to 31996. And we're going to start testing out notifications right before I go live so that you guys can have the link and just enjoy it. And also, guys, make sure to go to trendingpolitics.com. We get a bunch of great content up there every single day, and it's a lot of fun. Also, new products coming out every single week on ilovemyfreedom.com. We've got hats, shirts, flags, Trump-themed face masks. We've got it all for you guys. Go check us out over there. You guys, I appreciate every single one of you. This is a big week. The Democrat National Convention is this week, and it is sure to be a lot of fun. So join me tomorrow, same time, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, and we will get started, okay, you guys? I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys have a great rest of your Monday. Enjoy it. I want to see you guys over there at trendingpolitics.com, okay? Reading those articles. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll be talking with you guys very soon.